What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 17th day of September. And here we are, sitting at about $3 right now. We did dip just below $3 today. We hit a low of $2.98. I want to go over the short-term stuff. We did get the announcement today that the Federal Reserve has decided to cut interest rates by 25 basis points. That's 0.25%. So that's nice. We've got our first rate cuts since last November. And actually, if you listened, a lot of people I think are just so disappointed. They're like, "Oh no, we only got 25 basis points. What a ripoff!" But it's like, if you listen, Jerome Powell is actually pretty dovish, you guys. He was actually pretty damn bullish on the markets, I would say. As like bullish as I've seen him be this whole year. He was talking about continuing rate cuts. There's going to be more rate cuts. He literally, I'm not speaking verbatim, but I'm going to paraphrase him. He basically said, this is something we're going to continue to do. Because somebody asked him a question. They're like, why didn't you cut it by more basis points? He's like, well, they're like, do you expect 25 basis points to be significant? Why that? That's such an insignificant number. He's like, well, he's like, it's not the 25 basis points that matters. He's like, it's the direction that we're going, and the direction this is the beginning. What direction have we had all year? This is the beginning of that direction, which is cutting more rates. There will be more rates to come, and he's doing it slowly, which is great, which is actually really great. Man, I have to sneeze. I want to sneeze. It's not happening though. Damn. Isn't that annoying? You get that little like sensation in your nose and then it goes, it's just so not fair. I wanted to sneeze. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about this. Let's get into the short-term stuff and then we'll move on, okay? Here we are. 1 hour time frame for XRP, $3.01 almost. A little bit of volatility going into this FOMC announcement right here on this hour. This was the announcement. A little bit of an upside move afterwards and then back down. We've just been very, very erratic over the past few hours here. Looking at the indicators, not really a whole lot going on. You're in a neutral posturing here, bearish posturing here, a little bit of a bearish posturing here as well. Oh, we've got bullish divergence. Maybe not divergence, actually. I don't know. It's the 1 hour. Who cares? Really, the RSI is the one that's the most important, and it's not really telling us much. So maybe let's zoom out. Let's see if we can figure something out with the 4 hour. There we go. The 4 hour. Now, to be fair, we have 2 hours and 50 minutes left. There's a lot of time in this candle to go, but the 4 hour does look bearish at the moment. If we can come back up and close this candle green, it will no longer look bearish on the stochastics or the RSI, but the stochastics and the RSI for now, they look bearish. The MACD also looks bearishly primed. And if that's the case, whatever, that's okay. We can go lower. It goes against what I was thinking, yesterday and the day before, but whatever, that's okay. Low to high. You hit the 382, went up to 236, 382, 236, back down. You probably go down to 293, 287, maybe 284 at the lowest. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm not calling for that to happen. I'm just saying if it did happen, 2% to 5% of a drop, 5.5% of a drop, I wouldn't be surprised. And again, I'm saying I'm not calling for that to happen because I'm not convinced yet. This is kind of what I'm seeing. It kind of makes sense that we go down there, but I'm not calling for it yet. Okay, I want to wait. I want to wait before I get that right. We're going to make the call at the end of the video because again, we have 2 hours and 50 minutes left in this 4 hour candle. We're only down 0.7%. If in the next near 3 hours we come back up, we close this 4 hour candle to the green effect, these bearish looks go away and they actually turn bullish, right? Imagine instead of crossing down here, you've got the bounce off the 50 and you're crossed up. That's bullish. Imagine instead of rejecting the 50 here, you're piercing through the 50. That's bullish. Imagine instead of here continuing to further this bearish momentum right below the zero, you're scooping the zero and you're coming up. That's bullish. You've got this overall higher low trajectory here, right? Going with your oscillator. That's bullish. So there's a bullish base built beneath this bearishness. I don't want to make the conclusion that we're going lower just yet, right? But I am saying if we do go lower, and this isn't some kind of game, I know a lot of YouTubers play this game where they say, well, it could go up, it could go down, and then whenever it happens, they're like, I told you it would go to this area. No, I'm not going to, at least at this point in time, I'm not confident that we go lower. If by the end of this video I'm confident that we do, I'll let you know, and then I'll tell you I told you so. No, that's not how my style is. 287, 284, that would be the most that we'd see. 293 would be at least what we see to the downside. Okay, these are the target areas to expect should we move lower. Okay, It's not me calling for it. That's just me making you aware. Making you aware. That's all. Daily time frame here. Overall, the RSI is bullish. We could go down, and the RSI is still going to be bullish. Overall, the stochastics here are bullish, but you kind of look like you want to come lower. If we're being fair, let me just zoom in here. Let me look. Let's look here. Yeah, I mean, if today closes red, it really does hinge on this 4-hour candle, right? Because this 4-hour candle here opened up at $3.03.4. So if it comes up and closes green, that's going to look good on the 4-hour. We opened up this day at $3.03.8. $3.03.8 versus $3.03.4. That's pretty close. I mean, if we can close the day green, I think that would also make this look good, because now you're bouncing here and you're looking like you want to continue. Now your stochastics, instead of rejecting, they're actually crossing through, and then your MACD crossing above the zero gets to continue on as well. We could even close red, and I'm not completely convinced that means we move lower, but it would just look better if we close green. So at the risk of being wrong, as much as that hurts anybody's pride, it doesn't really hurt mine, but if at the risk of being wrong, I'm going to say that I don't think we go lower. I do think that this was our low. I don't believe, I mean, if we go lower from here, okay, fine, but I don't think we go lower than this low, which is at $2.95.5. I don't believe it. I think that we have higher to go. I think we've got very bullish implications on the daily time frame, and if we were to go below this low, that would actually mean that these bullish implications are false, and that we're probably going to go lower going into the weekend and even going into next week probably. I don't see it happening. Not that it can happen, but it can. It can. But I'm not calling for that. The call here is that we find support and we move higher. I think what's really about to happen is that XRP is going to break out of this range that it's in. I didn't draw it the best. Let me try and do that again. This range, I think we're going to it's going to break out of this range to the upside. Okay, we're going to do that here any day. I mean, genuinely, tomorrow, we could be making a video on XRP tomorrow. I don't know why I say we, it's me. I'll be making the video, you'll be watching it, okay? Hopefully. And if you are, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more. I wouldn't be surprised at all if tomorrow XRP was up back at 360, 340. We could see a breakout move take place any day now. Don't believe me? That sounds too crazy. Well, we were at the same exact price back here on the 17th of July, and we did that exact thing. We went all the way up to 348. It can happen. It could definitely happen. And we're right on the precipice of all-time highs. I want to offer this thought to you guys before we wrap up and get to the end of this video here. The thought here is that, again, a lot of people right now, if you're invested in XRP, you're thinking, who cares? Up or down, whatever. I know it's going to go up in time, so do what you're going to do, XRP. I'll be patient. Doesn't matter, right? If you're looking to buy XRP, you might be thinking, it could go up, but what if it goes down? Like, I don't know. I'm not so sure about it right now. Maybe I'll just wait and see what happens. Let the market play out. That's kind of the perspective I'm assuming here, right? Lower highs. It's probably going to go lower. I'm going to wait to buy. That might be the perspective of people. But once we make this move tomorrow, next week, whenever it is that it happens, the perspective is going to shift. Now, everybody here, regardless of where the price is, once we kind of break this trend more officially, people will start to think, instead of, maybe, maybe not, they're going to be thinking, oh my God, XRP is going to new all-time highs. What does this mean? Where are we going to go? And that's when they start looking at the macro. At least if they're smart, they'll start looking at the macro, because where are we in terms of the macro? We are at the top of this immaculate resistance zone. We found resistance here, we went down. We found resistance here, we went down. We found resistance here, and we've been consolidating, right? Resistance 3 times in this area. And what are we doing that's different this time? We're actually consolidating, which implies what? A breakout's coming. A breakout of this overall range, right? A continuation of this. So again, that slight shift, we're at $3.02. We move up to $3.40, $3.20, whatever it might be. The perspective is going to shift in people's heads. Oh my God, we're going to $10. We're going to $6. We're going to pass go. We're going to collect $200. Whatever it is. Maybe 200 is going to happen next cycle. Maybe not this cycle, but I think XRP could hit 100 this cycle. I don't think it will. I think it'll hit probably 40 to 70. That's my expectation. At least 27. But I genuinely do believe you'll hit $70 or $40. We've got reasons for that. But this next phase higher, I think, will be more or less a replica of what we saw back here. I genuinely do. and maybe perhaps it starts back here. That'll take us up to like 14 bucks, right? This move maybe perhaps started back here. I mean, maybe it starts this month. Who's to say? I don't think that we go above $17. We've run the numbers a couple times on different things, looking at the Bitcoin chart, the XRP BTC chart. The numbers that we get time and time again come up with like $11 to $17, somewhere in that range, but typically most likely around that $13.50 to $16 area, something here. So with the 1414, with the fibs, it just makes sense that we'd go up here. And beyond all that, beyond all my all my other charts that we've used, and we've done the math and tried to make sense out of it, whether it works, whether it doesn't, the jigsaw puzzle of TA that we've done to try and find what makes sense for the price for XRP. I think just using our brains logically, this was the high, this was the low of this overall consolidation phase that we were bound to for multiple cycles. This, of that range, is the first target. I think it would be pretty weak and pathetic for anything to consolidate for years and stop at its first target. So on to number 2. Because I don't know about you, but I don't see XRP being worth $27 by the end of the year, right? Maybe going into next year, right? By the end of the cycle, sure, but by the end of the year, I don't think so. I think by the end of the year, you're more likely to be at $13.56 to $17. Maybe even by the end of October. We know how this thing moves. It moves at a very fast pace. Tell me it can't, and it will show you that you're wrong. It can move at a by the end of October, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we were not at least at $8 or higher. But I think the ultimate destination is $13.50 or more. I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.